it's Lil made by Marley, and today what I'm going to do is this is going to be a sort of kind of two-part sort of video. One part is going to be quite a lot of making, and the other part is going to be a lot of tidying up and doing it, because today I'm going to be making over my back door space, and I'm going to show you and give you a little walk round of the space in a minute. It is not good, I'm ashamed, but what can I say? If you've seen my other video, which is I made over my front door, it just looks lovely, and I come round and this is the door that is used all the time, so you think that I would do something about it. So what I'm going to do is going to show you some of the plant pots first of all, because quite a lot of it is all about going to be about making over plant pots. So first of all, I got these cheap, and they were cheap, they were £1.50 each. They are pure plastic planters. I got these at Home Bargains yesterday, but I have lots of these kind, the nasty plastic ones. I also have buckets, and I've got one big sort of, hang on, I will just grab it. I've got one of these big kind of planters. It's got tape on it, it all needs removed. They all need a good wash, and I'm going to kind of run through and take the camera off the tripod and show you what I'm going to do, but it won't be, I won't get it all done today. It's a bit late in the day. I'll probably just maybe start the planters today, but you're not going to know that. For you it's all going to be one video. For me it's going to be a couple of days. Anyway, I'm going to take the camera off the tripod and I shall show you what it is we're going to be doing. So as I said, I've got some buckets, the white planters, I've got black bucket, I've got green bucket, I've got another black bucket, and I bought these nice planters yesterday. They were really quite cheap. I'm going to mount those onto the greenhouse up there, and I've got some strawberry plants that I want to put into them. I've got a couple of sort of little sort of bedding plants to put in what we're going to do now. So I'm going to weed all behind, over beside the wall. My curly willow is fine. This bit here is not too bad. This planter here is absolutely, that's just weeds. They need removed. These are fine. I need to fix this. I keep pointing to it with my slipper. It was a water fountain, but it needs fixed and redone. This is okay, but it needs some more plants, but it's not quite warm enough yet to put too many summery plants in. I planted these, there's a kind of little strawberry in behind there, just one, I don't know why. The weeds in here all need to be removed. This is lovely, but the plant pot's all chipped. I need to sort that. I need to sort out all my succulents. Over here, same sort of story basically. There's a lot of weeds and things that need removed. I need to find some plants for this pot. There's a nettle down there that needs removed. This area here that goes into the greenhouse, I want to get rid of all the weeds here and make the greenhouse look a bit prettier. I could do with more with this space over here right now, which I haven't done. Walking you down this way. I love mirrors in gardens. They reflect the light, and this is a really old vintage mirror which I just keep outside. It's lovely. Some of this isn't too bad. There's a hosta coming up here. Hydrangeas, fine. These here came out of Christmas planters. I tried to plant them, but they're dead. Nice big succulent. My mini greenhouse, my pansies are beautiful. So not much to do there. Not much to do down here really. Need to tidy up my Belfast sink. I've got an old Belfast sink. You can't really see it, but it's down under here. This is fine. I could do with cutting some of this holly back. I need to refill these with succulents. They've kind of bit the dust. These ones up here, they just need a little bit of love. There's a big weed growing out there. My door wreath, I need to fix and put something a little bit thinner. Everybody keeps bumping themselves on it as they come in and out the door. I need to wash my door, and also I need to let the cat in. So from this side it doesn't look too bad, but there is quite a lot to be done. I need to fix all round about the weeds area here. This bit here is kind of woodlandy. I like that. I don't really want to touch it too much. I need to fix and get rid of, maybe give a spray paint to that little hanging thing, maybe repaint the birdhouse, get rid of the rubbish. We live in a very rural area and our bins are only emptied sporadically, so we have to take it if you can see that track that runs all the way up there, and in the distance you can see that the traffic going by, our bin is at the top of there. So there's the main road up there, and so this is how you get to the main road along this track. You go out our house and go along all up there. So our bins are up there, so hence the reason for the black bags. I will get Martin to move them, but you get the general kind of what it is I'm trying to say. I just want this area to look much nicer, and it has so much potential. It's coming into summer. It usually looks absolutely beautiful in the summer. I can't say enough, it really does. However, right now we just recently had more chippy stones put down, but I can see already there's a weed coming through, and I can just show you this clematis that's blooming. It's really pretty. So I've got lots of nice things to work with. I just need to get on and do it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the white cheap plastic pots, because these are the quickest makeover. We're just going to put a sort of redone font onto them, pop some plants in them, and call those good. So I'm sorry about the light in the studio today. It's just when the sun's shining. What I've done is I've printed off some words that are relevant to gardening, like sanctuary, tranquil, and all these different words. And what I'm doing is I've just used my silhouette to stick them onto the pots. You can use stencils, you can use stickers, any way you can upgrade cheap pots. Here I am clipping back that holly that I'd got about out of control, and I'm just setting about getting all the work done. And next I'm going to be tidying up those little succulents in those little pots there. So this is me just showing you that I'm putting some grow more and some extra compost into those bins over those wooden boxes that are attached to the ladder, just where I'm putting more succulents in, just to give them a little bit of a helping hand. So that's what I'm doing there. I'm just generally sort of tidying up as we go, sorting everything out as I go around each section of the garden. So here's a little close-up shot of what I've been doing. I've just been replacing all of those boxes with fresh succulents, just tidying it all up. That's what I've been doing there. The glamour of life. Here I am washing all my pots before I start decorating them, making sure there's no tape or anything on them, and just giving them a really good clean. Here I am spraying painting 2 of the buckets white. I'm giving one of them a solid coat of the white, and I'm giving the other one just a little bit of the white, because I'm going to decoupage. I want to make a water feature, and I want the pot that the water feature is going to be in to have a sort of faux cement finish. So here I am with all-purpose filler, and what I'm doing is I'm just literally smearing it on with my hands so that there's texture all over it. So that's what I'm doing here. Here's how the large pot looked once it was covered in the all-purpose filler. I also did the top of the sieve, which is going to make part of the water feature. I also did that with a little brown one, and here's a little sneak peek of the flowers in the white pots. Now I went on one of the pots that I spray painted, just a light coat of spray paint. It's just enough so that the black doesn't show through the decoupage and napkins. And here I am with a willow patterned napkin, and I'm just decoupaging it. And what I'm doing here is I'm sort of dampening the ends down so I can pull it off without any problems. And that's what I'm doing here. And I go on to decoupage the whole thing and a little bit of the inside rim. And this is me just showing you that. So in this plastic container I have some plaster of Paris, some ordinary white, just bog standard paint, and a little bit of water. And what I'm doing is I'm mixing it through so that this adheres to the plant pot. So that's all I'm doing here. I'm just mixing this, giving it a really good mix. And this is the one that I put the all-purpose filler on, and I'm just giving it a really good coat of this white, and it'll probably need a couple of coats. But this is what I'm doing at this part of the video, making sure that that this is all sealed, making sure I do the inside rim as well, because you don't want to be able to see what it has been beforehand. I'm taking that away and I'm letting it dry. So the next plant pot I'm going to be doing is this the big white one that I spray painted, and I have some stickers that I bought from IKEA. And what I'm going to do is I'm kind of cutting them out because they're a bit big for the pot, and I'm cutting them into sections so that I can get more bang for my buck, basically. So you can see me cutting this out, just trying to work out what I'm going to do. I'm just trying to organise the sizing. I realise that that little bit of stock needs to come off, and because they're stickers, I'm just peeling them off and I'm sticking them on. Now, these stickers weren't expensive. I think they were either £2.99 or £3.99, and they came from IKEA. And I'm just going round the pot, and I'm just picking stickers that I like, and I'm sticking them to my pot all the way around. I just pick them as I go. I do have one word left that I printed out from a silhouette for this pot, so I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap so that I can fit that in. But as you can see, I'm just sticking them down. I will cover this pot in yacht varnish to make sure that the stickers are stuck on there and do not come back off. And here I am with my bloom decal and a tiny piece of transfer tape. I don't know what that's about. I know why. It's because the pot starts to slope down and I wanted to have my letters straight. So that's a top tip if you want to do that. Sometimes when your pots or your things are not completely vertical, straight up and down, you can weed off different letters with one letter at a time, so that you're making sure that that they all line up at the top. That's how I do it. It's just an easier way of kind of getting it so that it goes on the pot nice and straight, because if not, if you're working on a curved surface, it starts to go a little bit awry halfway around. I mean, believe you me, it has happened to me so many times, so this is why I do what I'm doing here. So that's me. I've got the bloom on that pot, and that's another one done. Just painting this pot with the same plaster of Paris and white paint mixture. This is the pot that went awry. I've kept it in because I want you to see that sometimes things just don't go to plan. But what I'm doing at the moment is I'm just painting it, and I'm painting the inside, and then I sit it on the side to start drying because it needs a few coats. But this one took a little bit of working out. It was a glue issue, but I'll show you as we go along. And here's the brown pot with the all-purpose filler on it, just getting a second coat. It's going to have moulds on it, but at the moment I'm just giving it a second coat before I leave it to dry again. I think it actually went on, and I think maybe this was even its third coat. So this is me just moulding a sort of leaf design. I've picked one mould, and I'm just going to repeat. I think I cast 6 of these moulds, and I glue them round the edges of the pot. And here I am here, just gluing the leaf designs onto the pot, and I do this all the way around. I'm gluing them on with Mod Podge, and then I'm sealing them with Mod Podge, and then I'm going over them in
so I'm out here in the hall, just where I've got room to do this. This is the garden
Here's
sieve,
the pot that's
the
going to turn into the water feature,
make into a little water feature, and I'm going to be painting it a dark grey colour just now,
and I'm going to paint it all in a dark grey paint.
But right now I'm just going to paint it.
So I bought this mat from a charity shop for 99 pence, place mat. It had all these wooden beads which I thought I could cut up and use. This is the pot that went horribly wrong. I tried to glue them on with Gorilla Glue, but the problem was they just slipped and slided everywhere and it became a mess. This is me painting one of the other pots, and what I'm doing here is I'm mixed up a sort of greige, a sort of cross between a grey, green, beige, and what I'm doing is I'm adding water and the kind of greige colour, and I'm just making sure that I get it in all the moulds and in all of the cracks of the all-purpose filler. That's what I'm trying to do there. This is me in the background trying to sort my beads that kept falling off the other pot, but all I'm doing is adding thick bits and thin bits and watering it down.
as I go to kind of give it that sort of effect. And then what I'm doing is I'm rubbing back with a rag. So I carry on and I do the whole pot like this. So this is the pot that is disaster, and I've already realised it's a disaster. So here I am picking all these wooden beads off. Back to the drawing board. So what I decide to do next with this pot is to start hot gluing some rope onto it.
So Marty's came along and he's decided that he is going to help me do some of the weeding and tidy this bit up a little bit. And while Martin's weeding this, I'm going to sand this pot. Now I quite like the patina on it, but I'm going to sand some of it back, and actually I don't know, quite like it. I'm going to think about what I'm going to do with this pot. So I'm going to start giving these plant pots a good coat of varnish.
So doing the bloom pot, I decided to put a black rim round the top of the pot just to finish it off. I didn't put it on perfect, I wanted it to look like it had been sanded. Sorry for the glamorous angle here. What I'm about to do on this pot is to give it a full rust finish. There's a few different tutorials that I've shown you how to do this, but what I start by doing is I put because the pot's already black, I'm putting all the thicker sponge in with the natural sponge at the top and the bottom, and just lightly in the middle. And I do go back over and put a little bit of black in it, just to kind of mute some of it down. But this is what I'm doing here. So if you're unsure about the rust tutorial, then have a look at my other videos. So here's the large plant pot and sieve that I covered in all-purpose filler, and I've only done it to the rim and not underneath it because it's going to fit in the top of my base. So here it is when it's done. So it's had its first sort of kind of coat all the way around. It's completely dried. Now it's going to need a lot of sealing, and the sieve is going to fit in to the top like that. And I'm going to cut a hole out of the sieve in the middle and put the solar water kind of feature through it. Now what I've got here is my watered down brown mixture that I use for staining wood, and I'm just going to get my natural sponge and I'm just going to kind of dab it on all over my the clean palette obviously, and dab it all over my pot, the sort of brown mixture. That's me just showing you the brown mixture all over the pot, and that's what I'm going to be doing now. And I just go all the way around it, and some bits light, some bits dark, some bits wiped, some bits just stippled, and I just go over the whole pot the same way until it's finished. And I do the same technique with the top of the sieve.
So I went back in with the rusty style pot, and what I did was, I don't know whether you can see the texture, I just, when it was damp, I forgot, I just didn't get it on camera. What I did was I just scattered some cinnamon on it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stencil a number, and then I'm going to cover this in outdoor sealer, and that's another one done. So what I'm going to do, I've decided just to give this one a little bit more interest. I've got a little sort of bee stencil which I'm just going to stencil onto the front like this. So I'm hoping that you can kind of get the angle. Now it's not going to be that easy because obviously the surface that I've applied is quite thick, but let's see what we can do. And I'm hoping this is straight because the camera angle I'm at. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not looking for perfection. I've got a
funny feeling because of the way I'm pointing it towards the camera that it isn't going to be that it isn't going to be straight. And if it isn't going to be straight, what I'll do is I'll turn around and I'll do the other side straight, if you know what I mean. So I think that's we'll call that good at that. And so there's our stencil. Is it straight? Is it not straight? I think what I'll do is I'll try again on the other side, just because my sponge was a little bit wet, and I don't want try again. Sorry you're not getting to see this again, but you just saw me do it. Everybody knows how to put a stencil on. I've got both hands to actually hold on to it this time, and I don't think it'll do it any harm that it's on both sides. And then I can pick which side I want at the front of my water feature. Now I still haven't got much further on formulating how I'm going to turn this into a water feature, but you know, that's okay. We'll work it out as we go along. Yep, that side's better. So there we go. Now, this is the thing that I'm going to go and Mod Podge now, and then I'm going to give it some sealer. Everything else has been sealed. Martin did some of my weeding yesterday, but I just need to do a general tidy up, so I'll get on and I'll do that. I've got this one here, what we're going to do with this one here. So this one here, I'm just going to keep it really simple, and I'm going to have a number stencil here, and I'm just going to lean it down, and I'm going to pick the number 2, not for any particular reason. I'm not using masking tape, I'm not doing anything about this, I'm just sitting it down onto here, and I've got a chalk pen, and I'm just going to draw inside the lines, and then I'm going to colour it in. Making my chalk pen a little bit dirty. So there we are, number 2. Just going to straighten this up with my chalk pen. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to be rather bold, and I'm going to try and freehand a sort of vine round it. And I'm just going to do, I'm trying to do it so you can see it on camera. And I think, I'm wondering, so that's what I've done so far. I'm thinking I might just be bold and carry it all the way around. It's really not straight now. I'm trying to. Do you know what? It's not my finest work, but it's relatively cute, and that was what I was aiming for.
So that's what I've done there. My circle isn't straight, but you know what? I free-handed it. I'm pleased with it, and that'll do for this one. So this one here is also going to get a coat.
Here I am wrapping that old piece of throwaway metal hoop with burlap ribbon.
So this is the wreath that I'm taking off the door. I'm wanting something a little bit thinner profile. I'm wanting something a little bit more toned down, a little bit of a transition into summer, sort of kind of lighter tones, not so much spring and bright, and you know. So what I'm going to do is, because it's a made by Marley blank and they can be wired onto things and reused, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take off the one that's already here so that I can reuse what's here, and also I'll probably just reuse the wire as well. So same on this side. I do these once for Christmas. I just change out the words, but I'm still wanting hello on this one, so I'm just unwiring it. I can take then all the flowers off of this one, put them back in a box, and I can use them again for another project. And that's the thing about reusing, repurposing, not going out and buying new things all of the time. I'm sure everybody kind of repurposes their sort of flowers, and sometimes they end up on things and you just don't want them to come off and they stay on there for good. But if I can remove them, like these are just stuck in the chicken wire, these ones. I'm gonna have to cut this bit of wire, it's just in a fangle. So I'll set that to the side and I'll get that sorted out later. So this is how it ended up, my wreath, and I want to have the word hello, I think just down at the bottom, so that's how it'll look to you. And I'm going to use the same wire. I'm sorry it's upside down. This is what you get for a quick garden makeover, although this video seems to be going on forever. So it's getting windy, and I'm going to wire this end through this side just like I did before. I mean, nothing difficult on that. That also covers my join where my hessian was joined together. I think I might cut this bit off so it's not sticking right up, and tuck that bit in. So I'm keeping, sorry, I just don't want that to look like that. I'm keeping my loose ends of my pieces of wire here on either side in case I want to attach flowers. Now I've got some flowers. Now I don't really want to cut them up or do anything to them, so I'm either going to have my flowers down the bottom or my flowers just on a simple, so I think I might just put them up the top. So I'm just going to try and put them on a oneer if I can, lay them down. I think that on the other side. Put this here like that. Or should I have them down here? Do you know what? Changing my mind. I'm going to have them down here. But I don't want to cut my stems, to be honest with you, so I'm going to use the wire that's holding up the now I can make this look tidier in a minute, but I'm just kind of giving you a rough sort of idea where these are going to go. So they're going to go up this side like that, and what I'll do is I'll tie these bits off. But you can see how I got made by Marley Bank, took it off my spring wreath, got some wire that my dad had sitting in down the side of a shed, covered it in burlap, and now I'm adding some flowers. And all I've done is I haven't spent any money. It's not a huge upgrade. So if you buy it made by Marley Bank, you can use it over and over again. You can paint it different colours, you can put it on furniture, They really are really versatile, but for wreaths they're fantastic. So I'm just going to go on and I'm going to get my other bunch of flower, attach it to the other side using the wire that I salvaged from that wreath, and then we'll call that done. That's as simple as I'm making it. It has to be a thinner profile for the door because Martin keeps bumping into it. So this is what we're doing. So I'll do this off camera. So I'm in my greenhouse. Here's some of the plants. Here's some of our pots that we're going to be planting out. I've got a couple of bags of compost. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set about filling it up. I don't know if you can hear the rain. It is pouring down, so I'm just trying to get ahead of the game. So onto the water feature. I bought a pump, a small pump from Amazon, nothing amazing, and the sieve fits into it, and this is where I'm showing you that you need to cut this section out. This is where it all went a little bit awry because I'm showing you that I forgot that this had holes in the bottom. So what I end up doing is I fill the holes with sealer, and then what I do is I stick a piece of black plastic to the bottom of it. So here I am using cable ties to attach my pump through the hole so that the piece that pumps is at the top and the bit at the bottom can be immersed in the water. So this is how this beauty looks, and the next thing we're going to do is we are going to fill it up with stones and switch it on. So all I did was I just got rocks and stones, Martin gave me a hand, and I just popped them in the bucket at the top of the sieve piece and put the panel for the solar in the light. Now it's not very sunny here today, so I think it will become a little bit more impressive, but right now it's just more of a spurt, but it's a gentle spurt. So there we go, that's the faux cement water feature. So here's the glamour shots of all the pots that I've upgraded and the door wreath that I made out of a whole load of junk. So just before I make the garden pretty and I disperse these plants all around the garden, I just want to show you again, these were all cheap plastic plant pots, which I didn't want to go to landfill, I didn't want to throw them out. So what I've done is I put some vinyl decals on some, moulds and plaster compound on others. I used those IKEA stickers on this one, rope and the beads from the mat from the charity shop. The water feature was old garden sieve and a big plastic plant pot which I gave a full cement finish with the bumblebee, the rusty finish one. with the number 2. I got that piece of old wire and turned it into a wreath. And I did this one, this plant pot in decopage, the bike basket, just needed plants in it. And so this is what I've done. So I'm just going to make my garden look pretty now, and we'll give you the glamour shots once that happens.
Basket. I think I can do something a little bit better with that, but there was quite a lot to make over in a couple of days. So that's where we're at, and I just really wanted you to have a good look at what you can actually achieve in a couple of days with just some paint, some all-purpose filler, some decals, and you could use stickers or stencils, some just paint, some rope, an old mat that I got in the charity shop. None of these things have been expensive, and it has really, you know, kind of given my little bit at the back door like a real kind of go up with all these different plants sitting about in different nice plant pots. So I'm just hoping that you all have a go at doing. Okay, so my back door's been washed, tidied up. That's one of the new plant pots there. The piece of old wire that was going to landfill made into a wreath with some burlap. I've tidied up and sorted out all the succulents. My Belfast sink looks fine. I trimmed back that holly. The wire bicycle basket, just put some ferns in. The water feature, I just put there with some of my own sort of French style ceramic things that I made myself. A water feature, and I put the tranquil and sanctuary above each other on the wall there. Obviously there's my mini greenhouse with my gorgeous pansies in them. This bed still needs, it's still quite early in the year, this bed still needs planted out. The weeds here I was going to pull up, I'm going to get these with weed killer because they're in amongst and they're hard to get out the stone. So these are going to be, that's going to be done today. Over by the greenhouse I've got more strawberry plants, and this is how this part of the garden looks. Obviously is the greenhouse, and coming back down this side again, my whiskey barrels are quite bare because they still need to be planted out with others. Still only me. Martin very kindly put up my metal thing with strawberries. Now I've got another one of those which I'll plant out another day and put somewhere else on the greenhouse. So coming down here, begonias, rhododendrons, and there's another one of our things that we did. Now I did say I was going to take away the chippy paint on the big sandstone pot, but I actually quite like the patina. Martin and I discussed it and we thought, well, do you know what, we're just going to leave it the way it is. So that's been done, and another day makeover is going to be sorting out my table and everything. Sorry for showing you such a mess. Sorting out my picnic table and everything for the summer. I'm going to make some cushions and things for it. And here, this piece of my garden makes me smile. It's kind of woody, it's got mulch and pine cones and everything. And I just put the bloom pot on top of another pot there, and there's the chair makeover we did in a previous video. And you know what, that little corner really does make me happy. So this is the garden makeover, and it's going to be ongoing, so we'll revisit it. And but that's how my door looks currently. Now I'm Lel from Made by Marley, and if you've liked this video, please consider subscribing. If you want to see more from us, push the bell notification, and if you want to share it, feel free to share it. We do home makeovers, decor, crafts, big builds, salvage things, and I do it all with the lovely Martin, who happens to be standing here. Hello Martin.
Hello.
Martin helped me finish this off. This has been ongoing since Friday. Today is Monday, so he helped me kind of finish this off quickly because we're moving on to another project we're doing. But thank you very much, and I'll see you again next time.